It's been very easy to assess blame for USC struggles to their defensive coordinator, Alex Grinch, but I think it's time to take that a step further. They've suffered their second loss. It's only week 8. They fall to Utah 34-32. First of all, huge credit to Kyle Whittingham, that coaching staff, the performance that they put together, especially Andy Ludwig, with all of the roster limitations that they have, with all of the injuries, the creativity to have to turn to a safety and to use him as a valuable weapon in this game, and to come out with 34 points and to win the game, to orchestrate a final drive. All of that is proof that Utah continues to be one of the best coach teams in college football. Now, the announcement of not having Cam Rising for the rest of the year, that is going to be significantly detrimental. That is going to hold them back. That is something that is going to catch up to them at a later point in the year. USC is a weak team. They are looking like they're going to be an 8-win, 9-win team that will suffer other losses down the line. But with that in mind, when they have to face off with better opponents, and I know that they have always been a team that has pulled crazy things out of their ass and pulled off huge upsets like they did last year, they are still a team clearly with roster limitations on the offensive side of the football. Again, that eventually is going to hurt them. If it is against an Oregon, if it is against one of these other better Pac-12 teams, not having Cam Rising could be a problem. To talk about USC, though, we have spent, and I personally have done this, have spent so much time criticizing Alex Grinch in saying that the defense, despite all the talent that they have, is poorly coached. They don't rally to the football. They aren't aggressive. They play on their heels. And that has led to bad performances all year long. And that stuff caught up to them in this game. It didn't really catch up to them against Notre Dame because they didn't really have to play much defense. A lot of the instances that they had defensively was with a short field. It is time to sit here and say that Lincoln Riley is the problem. It's time to sit here and say that Lincoln Riley is far and away one of the most overrated, if not the most overrated coach in college football. I'm not going to say he's the most, because I will gladly hand that to Dabo Swinney, who probably going to record another video on him. I think that Lincoln Riley needs to be brought up in that conversation because his time at Oklahoma, beating up on an easy Big 12 schedule only to get to the college football playoff and get embarrassed every single time, has landed himself at USC, has recruited well, and despite now being in his second season with the most physically gifted quarterback in the country, with a transfer portal haul that was one of the best in college football, which I heard nonstop from USC fans that they're a transfer portal school. They're not a team that's going to fill all their needs in recruiting. That was something I heard all offseason long from USC fans. And then on top of that, still bringing in an attractive class of 2023 recruits. Despite all of that, they have put a pathetic product on the field. One that can't finish football games, one that gives up against Notre Dame the previous week and can't beat a Utah team that is on their second quarterback, a guy who has really struggled this year, that they've shifted back and forth between Bryson Barnes and Nate Johnson, and then all the issues and injuries that they have on their offensive line, not having their starting tight end, who is an All-American. To not have all of that and for Utah to come out victorious is so lame on Lincoln Riley's part. And I put some of the onus there on him not preparing his team properly. And I also, him being an offensive guru in the last 2 weeks, facing two really good defensive-minded coaches and getting his ass kicked. We need to remember that one of these USC touchdowns was a pick six. A pick six. They scored under 30 points in this game. If it wasn't for that pick six, they're not even in this football game. They, far and away, have underperformed the expectation. And we need to sit here and have the conversation that Lincoln Riley is one of the most overrated coaches in college football. And until he can actually put together a complete football team and fires Alex Grinch, brings in a real defensive coordinator, puts out a competitive, well-rounded product, I don't want to hear a damn thing because he has consistently been overrated.